Just Rubal Chandy,
international entrepreneur and best-selling author Rubal Chandy.
Great to be with you, Melissa, and good morning, Houston. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm very excited to have this conversation with James Robert Elliott. He lives in Canada, and he has worked with me over the years, to grow his business to the next level. And he's a master NLP practitioner and taught so many people on NLP techniques, sales, so many other things. And he's pretty handsome hunk, and he has actually come to my house, visited. In fact,
Sure.
Lisa actually came visit me like last week. Lisa was here.
Very
Even
cool.
got her butter chicken and everything, right?
Nice.
So she got the
Nice.
whole package.
Nice.
Yeah. So welcome, James, and we are going to have a very casual, friendly conversation. James is from Canada. He lives near to Ottawa. In winters, sometime, and
In summer, that's true. And then Toronto summer. Yeah.
summer, and then for the rest of the time, he lives in Toronto in Canada, right? So 2 major cities in Canada. So what's up? What's going on, brother? Everything okay?
Everything's great. Good to see you, brother. Was exhausted this week, and I took some time to recharge, both body and mind as well. So I'm back in the saddle, ready to rock and roll as well. It's good to see you, man. How are you doing?
Pretty good. So you work with businesses, and you have a business too, and you have come from a very professional environment where you are making multiple 6 figures.
Yep.
As a professional, and then you quit your job and you started your business, helping entrepreneurs and helping people to grow their life, their business to the next level. So question for you is, where did this all start? Like when you are young, did you want to start a business, or what's the story?
That's a good question. I was a serial entrepreneur as a kid. I had my own lawn care business that went so well that my parents helped me buy a snowblower with points, some kind of points for some kind of department store. And so we bought a snowblower for our own house, but also I went around the neighborhood, and the snowblower was bigger than me. I was probably 9 at the time, and I was like pushing the snowblower. Like the handlebars were up here. I'm a little kid pushing this massive.
Just to make sure that those who don't understand what a snowblower is, it's like it does a blow job for you. It does actually. It actually blows the snow away from you. So that's what it does. And then the lawnmower is basically something that is used for cutting grasses on the ground. Okay, go for it.
Right on, brother. Right on. So I had those businesses. I had a DJ business in high school. I've started 7 successful businesses. I had a holistic nutrition business. I had a personal training business through university and after university too. So I've loved being an entrepreneur. And then for some reason I got involved in IBM and then Novell, and had a corporate career for 15 years, and then left and went back to becoming an entrepreneur and helping other entrepreneurs. And just great leaders, people that recognize themselves as a leader, do better, be better, be more effective, more efficient, command more attention, gain more respect, have people really see their unique ability and recognize them, so they'll work with them or buy from them, or do business with them, or they'll promote them. Okay. It's been a lot of fun. That's for sure.
And just to remind you, for our international audience, you might need to talk like a little bit slower, like maybe 300% slower, to be more precise.
300%. You got it, brother.
Yeah. So the question is, you said you were bullied in high school, or like some period of your life, and you were overweight, and people shamed you. And I wish I could share your picture of your
the old me, the fat me. No,
I don't have the picture with me, but could you share about being weak and being not confident, being not able to stand up for yourself, and you feeling vulnerable because of that? Could you share about that?
Yeah, I for sure can. It started grade 4. It started the bullying, the being picked on, the tormenting. It wasn't a lot of fun, and it continued for a lot of years, honestly, as well. I think it was partly because of my own inability to have boundaries or stand up for myself. And I don't believe in violence, but if a bully is physically hurting you, I think one of the best defenses and get them to stop is to pop them back, and they won't bully you anymore. They'll pick someone that's less that's easy, someone that's easier to bully and pick on. And again, I don't agree with violence, but if someone's being violent to you, sometimes that's the key to stop it, right? And to getting their attention. Otherwise, they'll just keep bullying you, right? If they get just a rise out of you, they'll keep bullying you. So yeah, for years and years, picked on, bullied, affecting my self-esteem, affecting my mindset, my self-worth, huge anxiety and depression as well. So yeah, it was a big thing to overcome.
And when you overcame that, essentially you use the word self-worth. I actually spoke about self-worth a few weeks ago. So what is self-worth in your opinion? And by the way, if you could talk slowly too.
Yes.
What is self-worth, and how could you increase your self-worth? Because what you're saying is, if I have really high self-worth, I could probably be able to stand up to bullying, whether it is in business or in life or whatever we are doing. And so what is self-worth, and how can I increase my self-worth?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So self-worth is really how we feel about ourselves, both consciously, but also emotionally and inside unconsciously. It's really how the degree of how we hold ourselves, or how highly we hold and value ourselves, and dare I say, how much we love ourselves, and not the idea of, oh, I'm such a great person, I'm good at this, I'm good at that. No. It's the literally loving everything about you, every bone in your body, loving yourself and accepting yourself and valuing who you are. Because if you don't value who you are, there's no way anyone else is going to value who you are. And that will affect people, yes, picking on you, people taking advantage of you, people bullying you in life, in business, in relationships. If you don't value and love yourself enough to stop them, to say no, to have boundaries. And people can tell the people who have enough self-esteem or self-worth to say stop. And it usually only takes once or twice, if at all, because people, by looking at you through body language, through energy, they will know if you're someone that will stop them. And so they won't pick on you. They'll treat you better just by you being different.
Got it. So how is lack of self-image affecting my business, or having a higher self-image? How could it help me, or self-worth help me grow my business?
Yeah. So a great question. So the lack of self-esteem or self-worth or self-confidence, we actually project that onto other people. People can see that in us unconsciously or subconsciously. People can detect that. They notice. No matter how much we try to put on a mask, or to put on a false face, or to hide, people know it. And that's going to affect you getting a raise or promotion. It affects people doing business with you. It affects people hiring you. It affects people dating you and going out with you. It affects how people
Now, we
treat
have
you.
arranged marriage, so we don't need to worry about that.
Okay. Well, when you're married, it affects how people treat you.
Okay.
Your
Okay.
friends,
Okay.
and a lack of success.
Okay, good. All right, good. So that's good. So it affects us. And you said something about liking us, but I have so many mistakes that I make, and I have so many flaws. I have so many flaws.
Me too.
I mean, over the years, like, let's say I made my mistakes. I did like bad things. So let's say if I'm not able to forgive myself about some of the things that I did, and if I actually made a mistake, how could I even love myself? That doesn't sound. I mean, explain to me, how do I do that?
That's a good question. And you're right. If you can't own those mistakes, and if you can't realize that there was value, like, what are the learnings? Have you got the learnings from even your biggest mistakes or the most horrible things that have happened? Have you learned from them? Have you incorporated those learnings. Let's say it's failure. Let's say you're afraid of failure because you've failed so much. Well, you need to go back and think, okay, what were the learnings? What were the biggest learnings on the biggest failures in my life? How am I better? How did it improve me? How did it make me stronger? How does it let me talk to people better or become more resilient and never give up? Whatever it is. Have you integrated them? Have you really taken them in your life and had these learnings? Okay, I failed. However, I grew and it made me stronger. And I learned it made me more empathetic and more caring and more understanding of people. So have you integrated them with your life? And have you let them go? Have you let the pain go, the frustration, the hurt? Have you forgiven yourself? Have you forgiven that other person who hurt you? Right? Have you forgiven? You don't have to forget. You just need to forgive and let that go. So that's a big part. Otherwise, you're right, Rubel. You can't truly love yourself. And it's not about being perfect. I'm far from. I am not perfect. That's for sure. I want to improve in my life for sure.
Okay.
And I still love myself. I still love who I am and the man I've become. And that's the key.
So the question is, I mean, you have become that, but what if I'm not able to forgive me or somebody else for what I did or what they did?
Yeah, that's a good question.
What do I do then?
Great question. So you're carrying that around with you, right? You're carrying that baggage, that weight around with you. It's exhausting. It causes health issues. It causes a lack of success because you're dragging this huge weight behind you. And it often can kill us. It's exhausting. So you can forgive yourself. You can forgive the person. You need to give yourself permission to do that. You need to realize the benefit of forgiving. You may not, you don't have to forget, right? And it doesn't have to mean what that person did was okay. It doesn't have to mean what that person did was right. However, you can still forgive them. And that way you're not, see, forgiveness is about you. Forgiveness is not about them. You're still dragging that baggage or that lead weight, that anchor behind you. Forgiveness is for you. Otherwise, it's like that analogy, you drinking poison and expecting them to die, right? It's you drinking the poison.
Well, that's what lack of forgiveness is. Like
exactly. Lack of forgiveness, still being angry and spiteful and vengeful at someone. Just realize no one's perfect. You're not perfect.
How could I get them the poison instead of me drinking the poison?
I suppose by forgiving, I suppose.
Forgiving. Okay, good. All right. So maybe I could use forgiveness as a tool to do revenge. Okay, let's say I'm able to forget. And let's say I'm able to forgive, not forget. And if I'm able to forgive about whatever happened in the past, then and how will that help me with my business? I mean, is that really going to help me with business? How?
Dramatically, and I'll promise you that. And people are going to say, well, how do I do it? Well, just read, Rubel, your book, 90 Days to Life, or read my book, Unleash Your Power. In those books, there's a tremendous amount of how to do this. But to answer your question, though, Rubel, how is it going to affect it? Well, it affects who you are. Getting rid of those unconscious or subconscious blocks, barriers, memories, failure, feeling poorly about ourselves or feeling bad about ourselves, or a lot of the negativity that happened. We need to change that in our brain. We need to change that in our mind. Otherwise, it's going to constantly affect us. It's going to constantly be in the back of our mind, so that when you go out and you try to sell to someone, or try to convince someone to buy your business or your services or product, when you go out to speak, all that stuff in the back of your mind, all that buried stuff, it's going to show up. It's going to come through you unconsciously, subconsciously. You probably won't even realize you're doing it. However, it comes across in your body language, in your words, in how you stand or how you don't stand, in the energy you put out, and how you speak, and the clarity and confidence in which you communicate. So people are going to see that. People will see our baggage. Again, it may be subconsciously that they're hearing this stuff, and it causes them to not be confident in us. It causes them not to trust us, not to like us, And it gives them a lack of security with us. So people don't do business with us. People don't pay attention to us. They don't refer us. They don't listen to us. So it affects everything. That's why we need to do the inner work. And it's the most, I promise you, it's the most important part of your business and your work and your business growth that'll ever happen.
Got it.
I had a teacher tell me this years ago. I didn't believe it. And now I preach it. Now I share this. I believe it. Doing the inner work, because people are buying you. People are buying you.
Okay, got it. All right, so let's transition into something else here. By the way, as we are transitioning, if you want to have an opportunity, and I'm actually selecting around 50 people into my exclusive mentoring group, and if you want to be part of me privately in a group setting, mentor you, you want to be part of that journey. We have those kind of groups in different countries, and if you want to be part of one of those groups, you could actually fill this application form, and if you are qualified, our team will reach out to you, and they will set up a time. To talk with me privately, and you could see that in the bottom. It's rubulchandra.com business accelerator application form. You could actually come in, apply, and see if you are qualified. We rarely give scholarship to, so we once in a while we give scholarship to business people who are struggling to grow to the next level, but they have something like mission based. You could apply for it if and see if your business qualify for it. But for the most part, if you want to be part of it and scale your business to the next level, you can use this application form to be to start a conversation with my team. Awesome. So
in fact, if I could say, I'd highly recommend it. Rubel and I, we've been working, I think almost 4 years now. We've been working together. And wow, not just my business, but also me as a person, me as a man, and me as a business owner, how I think has transformed dramatically. I am so, and my parents have seen it. My mom loves Rubel because she's seen the changes in me and who I have been. So I met Rubel's family. We become close friends because of how much Rubel gives. And my most valuable lesson from Rubel, and I'll share this with people too, is to give them way more than they pay for. Give them way more than they expect, while having boundaries, of course. Give them way more, support them in ways they haven't even thought about. And why would they not want to buy from you and stay with you and refer you and support you and help you? I mean, referrals, they say referrals are between 3 and 10 times more likely to close. Give them your best. Give them way more than they ask for or that they paid for. And like in my case, the referrals will come to you. And that's why I love working with Rubel and sending referrals. Highly recommend it. And so again, grab his book, grab my book. I think it'll help you with the how of what we've been talking about today, how to transform. You got it.
Yeah. And thank you for that. Thank you for that, James. Thank you for that warm endorsement. And the thing is, you have sent me so many people into my business. Like, there are quite a few people that I work with, and James, somebody that I enjoyed working, he came to my house and he stayed. Didn't you stay with us for one day, or I don't know?
It was 3-4 days, I think.
Yeah, a few days. Yeah.
Awesome.
So he came to my home and stayed with us. Every white person who comes to my home, they get like butter chicken and naan.
That's great.
Right. So that's how I spoil them. So that was good. So and then there's so much fun about it. We'll discuss that another time. So thank you for that, and then thank you for recommending all those people into my world. And
my pleasure, brother.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. What is the number one belief that people have, entrepreneurs have, that is stopping them from growing their business to the next level? What do they believe that is stopping them?
That's a good question. I think there's probably one personal and one general. So the general one is that they have to do it all themselves. They have to do it all themselves, and they can't delegate, can't hire people to do certain things. It's like, oh, they're not going to do it right, or they'll screw up my business, or they'll wreck they'll harm the baby that I've created. And I was there as well, and it was limiting me, hugely limiting me. And now, again, working with you, Rubel, has really changed that as well. Having a team of people that work with me, it's a form of pride as well, thinking I have a team in my business now. It's not just me, I have a team.
Yeah.
So that's one big mistake I made, and the biggest limitations, thinking that you have to do everything yourself. And there's a lot of things we're not good at. I don't want to do marketing. I don't want to do Facebook ads. I don't want to do whatever, website design, and I'm not good at it. So we shouldn't do it. So that's one thing. Stop doing everything yourself. Number two, the second biggest thing is our self-doubt. Like we talked about before, is our self-doubt and how much we value ourselves, because people will only pay us as much as we internally value ourselves, internally what we're okay with yourself. And sure, we can say, I'm a great person. I'm really good at this. I'm really smart. I'm a great business person. I'm a great, key turner or clock puncher. But people will only pay us as much as we feel we are worth. So that's the second biggest limitation is the personal, is our deeper shadows. And you talk about this in your book, our deeper shadows, our deeper wounds, our deeper limiting beliefs. That's the second biggest problem or belief, is that often we're not good enough or we're not worth it. I'll say that again. Often the biggest belief is that we're either that we're not worth it or that we're not good enough. And that, again, people will see. People will detect that. People will see that. People will know that, and they won't do business with you, or they won't be willing to pay you what you want.
Okay. Question. So since we are talking about beliefs, what is one belief that every entrepreneur should have that will help him or her to grow their business? What should they believe?
Got it. That there's no one else like them, that there's no competition, and that you have a unique ability. You have a unique ability that no one else can compete with. No one else can do as good as you. And that's worth a lot of money. That's worth a lot of money. And in fact, it's priceless. You're giving people a deal when you're charging them, because your unique ability is so amazing. Maybe, and whatever that unique ability is, I first heard that from Dan Sullivan. Your unique ability is something you're great at. It's easy for you. It's fun. You love it. It's also referred to as I hope I'm saying it right, ikigai in Japanese, right? It's where you do what you love. It's fun for you. It's easy for you. People value it. You're good at it, and it just flows easily. It doesn't mean it's super easy. However, it flows well. You can do it way easier than anyone else can. And your belief that and doing that is priceless and worth a lot of money is a great belief, and it's what people will pay you for. I am so good at this. This is my expertise. I'm so good. It's worth a fortune. I'm only going to charge you $5,000 for it, or whatever. Awesome. I would say that's the biggest belief.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so looks like this went really fast. We have only like 3 more minutes. Do you have any questions for me, James, before we conclude this conversation? And thank you each of you for tuning in. And then hopefully James was making sense from different parts of the world. I know there are people from Bangladesh, from India, from other countries logging into this call. And US, obviously. Hopefully, you were able to, especially Americans. Hopefully, you were able to understand his Canadian accent.
The
Canadian accent. Yeah. And by the way, right after this, we have a class, James. There is a coaching training that we are doing. Well, we'll teach you how to talk with an Indian accent.
Beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
We'll teach you how to adapt to the new world. Okay. So
one of my biggest questions for you, Rubel. What makes an amazing leader, in an entrepreneur or anyone? What makes an amazing leader? What would you say?
Okay. There are so many skills for leadership that I believe that having a clear vision, if I were to take one thing out of the one thing, for a leader, I think it is having a clear vision about future and having their energies. When I say energy, their physical energy, their psychological energy, their schematic energy, their team energy, their everything about them, their soul's energy aligned to that vision.
True.
So if you have a leader who has like a Steve Jobs, I mean, he was like probably more screwed up than most of us. And then Jeff Bezos, he was very confused about his personal stuff too. But the thing is, they had a clear vision. They had a clear vision that they were so aligned to. And because they were so aligned to that vision, energetically, psychologically, spiritually, in all elements, they have that right vision. Being in that vision is the biggest leadership. Because once you have that vision, people will start to follow you. It's like a person who's dancing naked in the streets. And like you might have even seen a video about this. Like one person doesn't have to be completely naked, like wearing something so that police don't take them away. So dancing in the street. And then when they have that conviction, it's like when you have a big dream. There are people in my group who wants to grow a $1 billion company. It's crazy, outrageous. And some people might like online and offline, like, I don't have a $1 billion company. How do I help? How do you help somebody build a $1 billion company? As we are growing together, there are people, first of all, there are people who built $1 billion companies in my team. That's number one. Number two is, as we are growing, we are also growing into a highly growth mode in our own organizations in different parts of the world. And we have multiple companies we're doing. But the bottom line is having that clear vision to dance in mud with little clothes. That's what building a big, giant unicorn company is like, or whatever you want to build. It's whatever you think is the biggest dream. It's giant. It's like dancing in the street wearing little clothes. And if you have absolute conviction about that vision, if you have absolute clarity about that vision, if you have absolute energy alignment for that vision, then people will follow you. And then it's not going to be you who's going to build the company. It's going to be them who are going to build the company with you, with your help. You are the visionary. You have the leadership, and you have the real vision. Just like James, you said, once you are able to bring in that vision into your soul, then people will resonate with that, and then everything is going to be magical after.
Fair enough. Right on, brother. Right on.
Awesome, James. Thanks for your question, and thank you for all your answers. I really appreciate that. Put like thumbs up or something in the chat, and let us know if you enjoyed this conversation, and if you followed James's English. Do we need to teach him how to slow down, or what do we need to teach him? Let me know in the chat. Okay. All right. Great job, everyone. Great job, you tuning in on this Thursday. James, thank you so much. You're looking very handsome. Great job.
Thanks, everyone.